Hello, we are the Watchers team. Welcome to Behind the Scenes.
Since shooting on a rooftop was impossible, we had to build a wall segment and rent a scaffolding. As a result, we were able to replicate the environment in which our characters were evolving and extend them in CG. It allowed the contacts of the actors with real elements to ease the integration with the CG set in compositing, and the modular set element made it easier to move around and adapt the set when necessary. Because of weather restrictions, we had to shoot indoors for 2 days and recreate an outdoor lighting set that would match our needs.
The making of an entire 3D city is a very long process, so we had to split the work. We decided I would do the building in the background. In order to work faster, I researched buildings that I use as a texture on very low poly modelization.
I modeled and textured a CG double of the scaffolding set we shot to match in post. I also had to model and texture all the mid to close-up elements in the city, such as buildings, rooftops, and street elements.
I mostly worked on the Watcher's character. Laura had to be the most detailed, and for her base head, I used photogrammetry, which saved me some time on the sculpt. I modeled the body with no base and combined it with the head. I used zero workflow for the rotopology part, which allowed me to project a base mesh directly on my model. It also allowed me to start texturing with a good photogrammetry base that I increased in Mari for a more realistic look.
I had to create 3 different bases of the same model. The first base included a high-quality model for the extreme close-ups, the second one for the mid-quality level, and the third was a low-poly count model. For the texturing, I had mainly 2 approaches. I UV unwrapped and hand-textured all the hero close-ups in order to obtain the highest possible quality.
I modeled and simulated Laura's dress in Marvelous and chose a Houdini workflow for the grooming part. For the other Watchers, I just cleaned up some photogrammetry we made.
I mainly worked on the city. I started by making the layout and the set dressing. We wanted the sky to have an important presence in the frame. The light is cold during the first half of the film, and there are warmer, cleaner tones at the end when our characters reunite in the sunsets.
As an FX artist, I mostly worked on the scaffolding, whose inserts scattered through the film created a parallel story. To highlight the power of the winds, we decided to cover the scaffolding in tarpaulins that had a boat sail feel and could be strong enough to bend metal. I mainly used 2 different techniques, vellum and RBGs, for the scaffolding's collapse. It allowed me to bend the metal bars until their breaking point. We also had to convey the feeling of its weakening towards its final collapse while raising the intensity using dynamic camera movements and appropriate angles.
I dealt with all the simulations involving Laura, as well as the newspaper, dust and bag debris in the storm. The purpose of the main effect was to create a cathartic climax to this story. I first created a propagation system to trigger the disintegration. It included the outer skin layer and several layers of internal particles that added density. To gain control over my particles, I used different curves that were mixed with smoke simulation, noises, and velocity fields, allowing me to create better defined volumes and to maintain density through the dissipating effect.
We would like to thank everybody who made this film possible, and we hope that you enjoyed the rooftop view. Thank you for watching.